Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about something we often take for granted, but it shapes how we see ourselves, how we view others, and even how our society understands the world. And that's storytelling. Stories have been at the center of human life since the beginning of time. From ancient myths to modern films, stories are more than entertainment. They teach us who we are, what we believe, and how we understand people who are different from us. One of the best examples of this comes from Ngozie's TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story. She explains how hearing only one version of a story, especially about a group of people, can limit our understanding and even create a harmful stereotype. She talks about how, as a child growing up in Nigeria, that the only books she read were British and American. All the characters were white with blue eyes, eating apples and playing in the snow. Things that didn't reflect her life at all. But because those were the only stories she had access to, she began to believe that people who looked like her or lived like her were meant to be in stories. This shows how powerful storytelling is in shaping our personal identity. Researchers Sheldon and Goffridi describe identity as a kind of story we constantly build, connecting our past, our present, and our future we imagine. When the stories around us only show one type of person or one way of living, it affects how we see ourselves and whether we believe our own lives matter in the larger world. Storytelling also shapes cultural perception, how we see other groups, and how they see us. Ngozi tells a story about her American college roommate who assumed she didn't know how to use a stove, or who assumed Africa was nothing but poverty and disaster. That assumption didn't come from facts. It came from one repeated narrative she had growing up hearing. This is why it's important that societies choose which story they uplift and which one they silence. When only one story is told, that story becomes the truth, even if it's incomplete. But the good news is that including multiple stories can challenge stereotypes. Ngozi says that when we open the door to different voices and different perspectives, we give people their dignity back. Instead of viewing other cultures through a single, simplified lens, we start to see them as a full, complex human being. Research supports this. Studies show that when students are exposed to diverse stories in classrooms, it reduces prejudice, increases empathy, and helps them think beyond stereotypes. Hearing different stories doesn't just change how we view others. It helps us understand ourselves more fully too. And finally, storytelling has always been a powerful tool for social change. Throughout history, marginalized groups have used stories to reclaim their identity and fight for justice. From slave narratives to indigenous oral histories. And today, new platforms like podcasts, documentaries, and social media give even more space for voices that were once ignored. When these stories are heard, they can shift public opinion, challenge harmful beliefs, and push society towards equality. In the end, storytelling shapes everything: our identity, our beliefs, and the way we see the world. As Ngozi and other researchers suggest, we must always be careful about the single story. There is never just one version of a person, a culture, or a community. When we listen to many stories, we build understanding, empathy, and truth. Thank you for listening.